Cute fantasy creatures. What's up, ladies and gentlewomen? I don't know if anyone remembers, but a while ago I did a video where I tried to draw some of the cute fantasy creatures that will be living in the world of my animated film. So just to recap, there was the Lotus Turtle, Raindrop Spirits, Smoggy, and you guessed it, we're going to be doing some more of them today. So there's really no need to dawdle, let's just get going, do some drawings. I've got my drawing tablet here and I'll try my best to explain a little bit about each character as I go. So let's go, guys. So the first creature I chose to draw was a lantern jellyfish. I'm not too sure where these are going to appear in my story as of yet, but I was watching Pompoko, the Studio Ghibli film recently, which, if you don't know, is a film about raccoons with magical shape-shifting ball sacks. And in the film there's this big scene in which the raccoons shape-shift into all manner of things and hold a huge parade. And at one point in the parade there's a load of floating lanterns which kind of hover in midair. And I just thought it would be kind of cool to have a scene where, as the main characters are talking at night, a load of lanterns with jellyfish tentacles all float upwards together, creating this kind of ambient light around them. In terms of the drawing, I think it went okay. I definitely started out too complex in terms of the way that the lantern looks, and just the designs on top of it as well were too much. And I think it's probably better that it's simpler because there's going to be loads of them, so. Also, after I'd finished, I tried putting a face on it, which is kind of cute. I don't know if it makes sense, but let me know in the comments, I suppose. Do people prefer it with or without a face? The next character that I chose to draw is a Yeti, who I think I'm going to call Archimedes, for no particular reason, apart from the fact I think it's a funny name. This Yeti character is going to meet the main party in a snowy village quite near the top of the mountain that they're travelling up, and he's going to help them venture out across this big frozen lake that blocks their way. So they're going to set out on skis, and he's going to be like their big, gentle but stoic guide. I've actually drawn this Yeti before, back when I was using just a computer mouse, but I didn't think he looked gentle enough, and so in this design I've tried to make him look a bit less broad and a bit more fluffy. But yeah, he's going to guide the party out onto the lake, but then suddenly the water underneath the ice is going to change from blue to pink because loads of shrimps have started to rush past them, and the reason for this is the next creature that I've drawn, and that is a giant crab. As it turns out, it's actually quite difficult to draw crabs. I definitely started out too chunky with my crab. He was very bottom heavy, but once I'd thinned him out, it was a bit better. His back was looking a little bit plain, so I decorated him with a bunch of barnacles and limpets, which, considering the size the crab is going to be, those barnacles are huge. And then I finished it off by colouring him in. Initially, I thought blue was the best colour to go for, but after messing around with the hue and saturation sliders in Photoshop, I decided on a kind of reddy orange instead. So there we are, that's the crab. The next drawing I did was completely pointless, really. I basically just drew a cat, and not a very good one at that, but basically I just had this visual image of the main character, who, by the way, I've come up with a name for. He's going to be called Alvar. That can always change in the future. Alvar's going to be pushing his pastry cart up through the village towards the square so that he can sell them at the festival, and while he's walking, a little black cat is going to hop onto the top of his cart and curl up and have a snooze. There's really nothing more to that idea, so moving on, I tried to draw the duckling character. Again, I essentially just ended up drawing a duckling. I haven't quite figured out how to characterize the duckling because, to be honest, I found it challenging just to draw a normal one in the first place. And then finally, I just tried to draw Smoggy again, but this time as a child, because I was thinking about how Smoggy and Alvar might meet in the first place. Obviously, Smoggy is Alvar's helper in the bakery, but why is he Alvar's helper in the bakery? And so without spoiling too much, I'd imagine this scene where a young Alvar is all alone, out in the rain, and with a little pop, Smoggy appears in front of him and leads him back to his friend's house. Then Smoggy would stay with him and they'd become friends, and eventually when Alvar inherits the job of running the bakery, Smoggy agrees to help him out. So obviously that's a bit vague, but I'll leave it up to everyone else to imagine the kind of context around that. And there you go, that's all the drawings I did today. Sorry if this voiceover was a bit botched, I didn't really know what to say. But anyway, back to me in the studio. So there we go, as usual, some went well, some not so well, or some of the drawings were a little bit pointless, but regardless, I got a few usable designs out of that, and it's kind of fun to draw them kind of creatures anyway. Speaking of which, I literally say it every time, but if you want to try your hand at drawing the same things, then you can send them to me on my Discord, in the Show Us Your Art section. You can send them to me on the Reddit, r/bugboy, or you can just keep them to yourselves. But anyway, I'm sorry that was a short one, but thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.